Yo, Curse Breakers, Big 808s, what it do? Listen, solitude is a lost art. Spending a long time with yourself is probably the best thing you can do for you, the most beneficial thing. You know what I mean? Because when you're around other people, you're gonna come off as a supernatural being. You're gonna come off as someone who just embodies it. You have the presence, you know what I'm saying? You have the energy. It's just something about you why people always look at you. Why they're always talking about you, whether it's good or bad, why you always find out that your name's in somebody's mouth you haven't even like resonated with in years. Why you're always here, why you're always there. And everywhere you go, you feel this. You might not have known what it was, but you feel this. This is why being alone is so important. One, you can understand energy, you have more clarity, there's less confusion, and most importantly, you kind of know who's who, you know how to use your discernment, and you learn about you though. Learn about you is the key when being in solitude. It's not just about being in solitude and listening to your music, reading, writing, studying, which I do all these things, and all these things are great. But sometimes when you're in solitude and you're spending your time alone, you're valuing yourself, you're loving yourself, you're learning about you, you have to sit in silence. You have to sit in silence. You have to understand your thoughts, process them, realize that half of the thoughts you're thinking are either thoughts that are passed down from the ancestral lineage of trauma or whatever you want to call it, epigenetics, you know what I'm saying, beyond, and then the genetics passed down, or thoughts coming from the collective consciousness. That's why they tell you all the time, hey, I like to wake up early. That's before all the thoughts are taken, before all the thoughts are created. Because some of the thoughts that you're receiving aren't even really your thoughts. That's why it's so important to understand the difference between a thought and a fact. It is critical. Because if you really think about it, a lot of the things that you're thinking about, are they really true all the time? Or are you projecting? Or are you doing the thing where, you know, the average mind only spends 3 seconds in the present. So in 3 seconds, you're going to be focused on me. And then in 3 seconds after that, you're either going to be thinking about something in the future, which is a I wonder if, or I wonder how, or when is, and it creates anxiety. You start biting your nails, you start getting skittish, your palms start getting sweaty. Or it's gonna be one of those things where in 3 seconds you're gonna start thinking about something from the past that creates depression. I woulda, I coulda, I shoulda. Damn, if I would have done this. Damn, I should have done this. Man, if only. Exactly. You see what I'm saying? That's why when you spend time alone and you're in your solitude, it's not just about staying away from people, it's about getting to know you. It's about getting to know, to understand the creator. You are the creator, you see what I'm saying? Obviously there's the most high creator, but we are creators created by the creator. So the more you get to know you, the more you understand why people act like this towards you, why you respond to things like the way you do, how can you fix things like this, and you realize how important it is to have that relationship with yourself. Without having that relationship with yourself, we tend to just constantly, you know, kind of repeat the same cycles because we don't really understand who we are, why we do the things we do, and why we think the way we think, and what this all means. You know what I'm saying? The more you understand who you are on this earth, what you're destined for, what you're passionate about, what you love, what you care about, what you're not so passionate about, it's easier to navigate on this journey, to maneuver. But you have to know, and I'm just laughing because it's so critical. Like, I've spent so many times and so many months now, almost a year and some change, where I've really just been in solitude. I've only hung around a few people. And now, as of lately, this last month, I haven't been around anybody. I'd rather not really be around anybody, and I'm just getting more clarity about things. And, you know, we're humans, you know, we need interaction, but interact with yourself. You know, look in the mirror and talk to yourself. Reprogram your DNA. Rewrite it. Tell yourself good things. Speak positive to yourself. Everything you do, speak positive. Change the way you speak. Put the good before the bad in every sentence. Somebody asks you how you're doing or how your day was, instead of saying, man, it's been a long day, I'm tired, just say, I'm grateful to be alive. It was a good day. I'm just a little tired. Put the good before the bad. Recognize the good things before the bad. Practice your awareness when you're alone and you're in solitude. Notice things. When you're driving down the road, pick something and find 5 things on it. And then when you drive back, find 5 different things. You gotta keep going and doing these things consistently though. It's one thing to be in solitude and all you do is consume movies, you sleep, you write, you read, and these are all great things, but you have to give yourself some real solitude, some real alone time with yourself. No other distractions, no social media, not speaking to people, nothing, just you and your thoughts. And sometimes that is scary, and that's a lot of the reason as to why a lot of people don't want to be alone. They don't want to be alone with their thoughts. They don't know how to be alone. But once you get used to it and you're motivated to be better, and you realize that all the answers are already within you, that's why it's called enlightenment, That's why this is all going on, this phenomenon that's been here. Why, a lot of people have the light already inside of them. It just has to be invoked by leaders, by thought leaders. It could be poets, astrophysicists, numerologists, just anybody really. And it could be invoked by anybody. Let me not even get in those categories. It could be invoked by anybody. You could be at the store. Example, you're at the store. The person who's a little bit less fortunate than you, who might be older or something, comes to you. They might be a social outcast on the societal spectrum. They tend to tell you their life story. They tell you something good about them. They tell you all these things. It's like they're trying to prove themselves to you, or really just have somebody to listen to and talk to. They're doing this because they see the light in you. The people that are being mean to you, that are trying to outcast you on a spiritual level, that are in the third dimension, though, they're doing this because they see the light in you as well. So when you spend time alone, reflect. When you're writing, reflect your own thoughts, though. Being honest and transparent within your own thoughts is key. You have to understand, the more time you spend alone with yourself productively, and there's nothing wrong with sleeping. We all need our rest. We all need to write. We all need to read. We need to study. We need to learn. But you have to be careful about what you're taking in. You understand? Your gamma frequency, the God-like frequency, is so critical. And the only way you can really stay in it is just think about it. What you put in is what you give out. So if I'm putting in all these great things, reading, writing, studying, spending a long time with myself, I'm meditating, I'm going to the gym, I'm eating good, I'm being healthy, I'm not letting any distractions in, I'm staying away from people who don't value me like I value them, who don't reciprocate energy and love, I'm recharging, I'm aware of this, you know what's gonna happen? You're only gonna put these things out. You're gonna stay on this frequency. How can you get off? How can you deteriorate? How can you swerve off the road? The only way you can do it is if you let the distractions back in. Being alone in solitude with this helps you create that healthy balance. You understand what's really worth your time, what's not, what's worth your energy, what's not, what's taking energy from you, what's giving energy to you. Who, what, when, where, and how. It's simple. Pay attention to this. When you spend time alone, if you really just give yourself a chance to express yourself, whether it's reading, writing, drawing, painting, singing, poetry, rapping, just talking in the mirror, talking in the dark, sitting in the dark, and just letting things flow. When you give yourself that time, you find your answers. A lot of people meditate on words. I meditate before I do a video just to know what do I need to say? What is God trying to tell me to say? What's the Most High trying to tell me to say? How am I feeling? How do I want to express myself today? What's on my mind? Use your solitude wisely because it is the lost art. Remember, a lot of us who want to be, or who embody, who are trying to step into the global thought leaders, the healers, let me not even say who want to, the people who are, real deal, real spill. Understand, yes, it is in you, it's not on you, but for that to be in you and for you to invoke that, you have to give yourself the chance. You have to give yourself the opportunity. It's simple. You'll realize that you don't want to be around people who don't, or who aren't on the same wavelength as you, the same frequency. You're going to realize that a lot of people around you aren't on that frequency or on that wavelength. So what do you need to do? Sit alone for a while. Yes, it might be not as fun. It might not be as luxurious. But remember, in due time, the Most High is going to send the right people along with you on your path. They're going to align. But your alone time is going to help you use discernment to know, okay, who's a test and who's real? Who's really with me and who's not? Who's here for the benefit? Who's here for just the energy? Who wants to hang out because they're feeling bad, not because they genuinely want to hang out with you, because they know if they hang out with you, you're going to uplift them through their energy. When you leave, you're going to be feeling drained. You got to pay attention to all these things because these are real things that go on. A lot of people tell me I talk too much about being aware and things like that. Okay, I'm not drained though. I'm good. I know where to go, who to go around. I know how do I create my energy so high. What do I need to feed into my body, my energy, my mind, my spirit, that when I go somewhere, can't no one affect me. All the work I put in, being here, learning about me, what bothers me, what triggers me, what I enjoy, what I don't enjoy, what am I willing to do. Extremely adventurous. I just know my boundaries. I'm not afraid to go in around anybody, but sometimes you got to understand and use your discernment to realize who is who in your life and who is who when you meet people. Because a lot of times, a lot of people come into our lives are going to be repeat cycles. Someone that reminds you of somebody for some reason. And a lot of times when you see these patterns, you got to pay attention. Yes, you are a healer. Yes, You are someone who is loving and caring and divine and wants to do anything for anybody and gives everybody the benefit of the doubt. But you gotta understand and you gotta know the difference between someone who wants to take your energy and someone who really just genuinely cares about you. And I'll tell you the truth, one of the hardest things you gotta learn is that sometimes you gotta cut off people that you love to death dearly, but they are just not for you anymore. That you love to death dearly. But when you spend time alone, it makes things a lot easier because you really realize why. It's not just you're doing it because you don't know, you're sure about things. You understand you. You know what makes your gears grind. You know what makes your gears be smooth. You know what I'm saying? You know who's putting WD-40 on your gears. Simple. That might not be the best analogy, but it's true. You know who's really helping you get there and who's not, who wants to take from you. Think about it. Think about all these leaders in the world. The leaders, the thought leaders, the healers. Think about how many people have been around them that didn't have their best interests. How many people that try to shake your hand, and I'm talking to you specifically, that try to shake your hand and try to be around you, that you want to do this and do that, acting like they want to help you, when in reality, they had nothing but ill intentions. I'm not telling you to be afraid, but you do need to be aware because you got to understand the reason you experience this so much is because how much light you have inside you. The gifts that you have, the spiritual gifts. You know what I'm saying? Intuition, discernment, honesty, transparency, just so many other things, prophecy. I can keep going, but my mind's kind of, starting to scramble a little bit. So I'm going to breathe. And remember, that's another good point. Your breath is your life force. So when you're alone, work on your breathing. Slow things down a little bit. Like for me, sometimes when I get real passionate, I start to talk fast. And I know I need to just slow things down. That's why this video is going so smooth. I wouldn't have known that if I didn't spend time with myself, if I didn't study me. You are the greatest subject on earth, though. You see what I'm saying? Besides our real history of where we come from, when it comes to you and your life, you are the greatest subject on this earth. You need to be your own doctor. You should be your own lawyer, your own advocate, your own creative, your own artist. All of these things. You are so unique. That is why you attract these people on both ends of the spectrum. Realize all the healing you do, all the light you have inside you, the enemy is going to, the treacherous, they are going to, the Decepticons, they are going to send double the hate back. Remember, loved in the fourth dimension, hated in the third. You're going to be loved in the spiritual dimension. In this physical realm, not a lot of people are going to like you. Be careful. Know yourself, because the more you know yourself, the more you move. It is the art of war. I'm talking about spiritual warfare because it is coming. It is on its way. But continue to grind, continue to rise. Remember, you wake, you breathe, you rise and you step. Continue, because power is coming back to the bloodline. Be ready for the spiritual warfare. It is coming. Keep working on you. Remember, your opportunity is going to lie in your solitude. A lot of people think, oh, being alone is a bad thing. Think about all the opportunity you have right here to get to know yourself, to get to understand what you like, what you don't like, who you are, why things work like this in your life, in your mind, in your heart. That is the greatest opportunity you have. Take advantage of it, though. Enjoy your day. You know what it is. Power back to the bloodline. We getting to it. Let's get it.